What's up, guys? My name is Registry, and boy oh boy do you have no idea how happy I am to be making this video right now. Truth be told, I didn't think I'd be making another YouTube video ever again. That's just how bad this whole situation was. And for those of you who don't know what this situation is all about, some of you may have figured it out on your own, as you know, my channel was basically vacant for the past month. My channel was terminated. I got 3 copyright strikes and I was taken off the grid. So in this video, I'm just going to kind of explain what exactly happened in more detail while I play some anime games, because I'm pretty sure that can't be copyright struck, and where we're going from here. And side note, this video is highly unscripted and I'm not very good at those types of videos. So if I stumble over my words, I apologize. This is kind of new to me. So yeah, let's get started. So for those of you who don't know who I am and are just here looking for advice on how to get your channel back, first off, that's not entirely what this video is about, but I'll try to give some tips here and there. But for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Registry. Hi. And I am a maker of mostly AMV videos and some commentary videos here and there. And this information is pretty important when you're trying to figure out exactly what happened to my channel, because all 3 copyright strikes from this channel came from, well, my music videos, or my Sakuga videos as I call them, but they're AMVs, let's be honest here. The first copyright strike I got, I believe, was for the Fate Sakuga video that I did. And oh, I guess I should also explain who has been copyright striking me. It's been Sony every single time. Sony and I have a very bad relationship at this point. But yeah, they've all been Sony. The first one was Sony, and it was for the Fate Heaven's Feel Sakuga video I put out. That video did not stay up very long, so I'm sure a lot of people didn't see it, but I was pretty proud of that one. They took it down, but that was my first copyright strike, so I was like, okay, cool, whatever, moving on. So I was like, all right, I've still got 2 more chances. We're doing good right now. It's okay. It's okay. We got that 1 copyright strike, but it's okay. So about a month goes by and I get a content ID claim on a very old video. It was for my 3D maneuver gear Sakuga video for Attack on Titan. Normally, I'm just okay with content ID claims. I don't expect to make money from these Sakuga videos. It's not really the point of them. So content ID claims are fine and everything. But the problem is that content ID claim just basically blocked the video in pretty much every territory except for Japan, I believe. And, you know, that's a no-go. I want as many people to see the video as possible. And there are people who are asking me to fix it. So I was like, okay, let's try to fix it. Let's refute the content ID claim. And so I wrote very, very respectfully to Sony. I was like, so hey guys, I'm fine with the content ID claim, but could you, like allow more than people in Japan to view it? So, my, the people in every other territory don't have to use a VPN just to watch it. Cool. Thanks. Got it. All right. Submit. Content ID, gets retracted, because I guess that's what it does the moment you do it. The content ID goes away, and, it stayed that way for about a week. And I was like, okay, cool. All right, moving on. That week goes by and copyright strike. Wasn't aware that if you refute a content ID claim, you get a copyright strike. That was a should have read the fine print on that one. So now here I am with 2 copyright strikes. The first one, I really don't know what it was that I was infringing upon. I never got a clear description of what it was that I was infringing upon. Was it the music? Was it the audio? I'm sorry, was it the music? Was it the video? I have no idea. I still don't know. So I basically learned nothing from that one. And the second one was just like a free kick in the nuts, basically. So I had basically learned really not much about the copyright system at that point. So I was kind of scared. I was like, all right, let's do commentary videos for a little bit. So I did that. I did commentary videos for the next 3 months or so, because the copyright strikes expire every 3 months. So I just did those for a while. So I was coming up on the third month, and I'm like, okay, let's continue making these Sakuga videos. I promised to make Vivi, the Vivi Sakuga video. I promised that for a very long time, and I didn't want people to wait any longer. So I'm like, okay, let's make it and let's put it out. So I put it out. It went through the check. Whenever you upload a video, it goes through a copyright ID check, and it content ID'd the music, but I was fine with that, and I was entirely expecting it. Content ID music is, I thought content ID music was perfectly safe, and as far as I'm aware, it still is safe. It's not like the content ID system is just something that happens. People sign up for it so that they can allow other people to use their work in other people's videos, essentially. So as far as I'm aware, it's still a safe system to use. This music has been licensed to YouTube for other creators' benefit. But that did not free the video completely, because I was under the impression that Sony was only copywriting my videos based off the music. After all, I was getting no description whatsoever for these copyright strikes, and it wasn't just called Sony, it was called Sony Music Entertainment. So any logical human being would think, oh, it's the music. They're having a hard time with the music. That's not the case. The Vivi video proved that wrong. As it turns out, Sony can just copyright whatever they want. It doesn't matter how little or how much you use that belongs to them. They can copyright it is just as easily. That's just how easy it is to use the YouTube copyright system. I've copyrighted some of my videos on a channel I no longer have access to. Yeah, I wasn't able to sign into an old YouTube account of mine, and since I couldn't log into that account, I couldn't do anything with the videos, so I just copyright struck myself, and it was really that easy. Like, it's very easy to abuse the copyright system on YouTube. That is the main lesson I've learned here. But anyways, moving on. So the Vivi video got copyright struck, I think maybe like a week after it went up. And this was not only extremely disheartening, but also very ill-timed, because one of the other copyright strikes was, I think, like 3 days away from expiring. That hurt a lot. So yeah, it really all just went downhill from there. I got the email. I was sitting on the toilet when I got it, and I dropped my phone on the floor. I was so stunned. I'm never going to forget that day, to be honest, because that was the day I realized just how important YouTube meant to me. I started this whole thing as a hobby, and it still is a hobby to me, but I didn't realize just how important it was to me until it was all just gone. For those of you who lose a YouTube channel, you would know how helpless you feel when everything you've worked for years just goes down the drain just like that. But we'll get to that. So anyway, yeah, the Vivi video was copyright struck, and it wasn't for the music because Sony didn't own the music in that video. They just struck the visuals. And I was under the impression that I was using it under fair use, but apparently Sony didn't agree with that ideology. Really, those days are kind of a blur at this point, because I didn't take it very well, I'll be honest. Having just everything just disappear like that, I went through an entire range of emotions. I'd never been more sad or mad in my entire life. And after being in utter despair for days, I decided that I wasn't going to let this happen to me. I decided to take action. But one thing I quickly discovered is that when you're working really hard at something and you don't know if it's going to succeed, it makes it harder to work on that one thing. So trying to get back my channel while not knowing whether I was going to get it back or not was very hard. It was very hard to stay motivated to do that. So how did I get it back? Well, I guess I guess it really changes depending on the person, but here it is. This is how I got my channel back. So the first thing I did was I contacted Sony, and they didn't reply. I tried for the previous copyright strikes. I tried talking to them via email. That way, they never reply to their emails. So that was out of the question. The next step was the counter notification. So I basically was like, hey, I did this under fair use. Give me my video back. Like, what the heck? Like, that was basically what my counter notification came down to. And yeah, it was rejected by YouTube. But it wasn't immediate. It took 10 days for them to reject the counter notification. And not only that, but they forgot I even submitted it. I had to submit it via email because I didn't have access to YouTube Studio. And you can do that, by the way. You can submit counter notifications via email. So I did that, and they completely forgot about it. I had to contact YouTube via Twitter, which is basically the only way to contact YouTube. Which is very broken. If you guys go to my Twitter, you will see a very long thread of me talking to YouTube. So, you know, if you guys want to look at that, I highly don't recommend it, but you can. You can do that. But that's the only way to talk to YouTube. There's no like, I don't know why they do it like that. It's really a broken system, just as broken as their copyright system is. But anyways, right, the copyright, right, the counter notification. So, yeah, while those 10 days are going by, I only reached out to YouTube after the 10th day because that's when they're usually supposed to make a decision. But as it turns out, they weren't looking at it the whole time. So, but anyways, during that time, I spoke with, I think, maybe 5 or 6 different lawyers trying to get advice. And a quick shout out to Majestic Gaming on YouTube. He's the one who actually helped me locate the first lawyer, which kind of set in motion me finding a whole bunch of other lawyers. He went through something very similar to what I went through, although his copyright strikes were much more, I think they were like in Russian or something. Anyways, shout out to him. He really helped me out. He is a much bigger YouTuber than I am, and he didn't have to help me, so I'm very, very happy that he did. So thank you, Majestic Gaming. Thank you. With that being said, talking to lawyers was not exactly the best experience I've ever had, because every time I talk to a lawyer, I think I died a little bit on the inside, because talking to lawyers is not fun, especially so for situations like this. And that's because, well, they basically tell you how screwed you are. Because with my case, pleading the fair use doctrine, which a lot of people do on YouTube, is a case-by-case basis. And in my case, music videos are like borderline, and I mean borderline fair use. Like, if they're taken to court, there's a very good chance that you're going to be not winning that case. And that was basically what I was told by every single lawyer. It was very demotivating, especially considering the fact that if things escalate too much, you're going to have to retain one of those lawyers. I was just speaking to them, you know, free of charge, like free consultation. But if you ever need to retain a lawyer, that's a very expensive endeavor that I was kind of stressed about, because I was worried that it might have to come to that point. And even if it did come to that point, there's a chance I could lose a lot more money once I actually get to court and I end up losing the case, which is very likely to happen. And keep in mind, guys, this is all for a channel that I don't make any money off of. With all of that being said, I made the pretty foolhardy decision, but I guess it paid off at this point, to go ahead and take a gamble. So, after about 3 weeks and countless de-incentivization from lawyers to submit a counter notification, I made the life or death decision to submit a counter notification, and I decided that I was going to risk going to court to get my YouTube channel back. And really, that's just how much I cared about this whole thing. I don't know exactly where I'm going to go from here, but we'll get to that anyways. But yeah, I took a big risk submitting a counter notification. And this time around, I filled it out. I basically wrote a very, very professional essay, tried to include some lawyer talk here and there, spending 4 years at college really helped in that regard. So I filled out the counter notification, and what I did was I pulled up the fair use doctrine, and I basically cherry picked the words that are in that doctrine and kind of inserted the important words into my essay. And that mainly came down to me being like, oh, it's an educational video. I'm trying to teach people or I'm trying to inspire people to become animators or something along those lines. I forget exactly what I wrote, but I tried to appeal to the fair use doctrine as much as I could. And I submitted it again. And once again, YouTube wouldn't accept it because a bunch of internal issues that I won't bother you guys with. But eventually, they finally accepted it. And there was nothing else I could do but wait. So I waited. I kind of moved on from YouTube for a little bit. It kind of went into the back of my mind after struggling with it for 3 weeks. I was just completely brain dead. Luckily, I had some time to myself. I just finished college, but it was this morning that I finally got the good news that my channel was reinstated. Because as I mentioned previously, if Sony doesn't respond within 10 days with legal evidence that they have taken court action against me, then according to YouTube policy, they have to reinstate my channel. There's still a chance I can get sued, which is pretty scary to think about. But otherwise, it seems like my channel is up. And I'll tell you what, the first thing I did when I got my channel back is I privated all my videos. Because the fear of the gods has been strucken into me. The fear of the YouTube and Sony gods has left an impact on me. And it's made me realize that YouTube really isn't the end-all be-all platform that it seems to be at times. Like, really the biggest thing that this whole situation has taught me, and I know I've been saying that a lot, but this is especially so, is that if you are building a brand on the internet, it's important not to put all your chips into YouTube because you can just be taken off of the grid just like that. It's a private company. They can do whatever they want. If they decide that they don't want you on your platform anymore, you're gone. That's it. You hear stories about this all the time, and it's especially devastating for people who are mainly prevalent on one platform. It's kind of hard to get around that for YouTube because YouTube is a very dominant platform in the video sharing industry. There's really no one else that is there to compete with them. But if you can, try to expand as much as you can and put your content as much on other platforms as humanly possible. As it turns out, I had actually unintentionally already kind of moved some of my content away from YouTube, content that was copyright struck or for whatever reason it couldn't be on YouTube. I actually put a lot of my content on my own website, which I'll get to in just a second. But that's another form of just making sure that you don't put everything into YouTube, as hard as it is to not do that, because their services are just, even if their customer service is not very good, the base service that they offer you is pretty hard to beat. So yeah, for the time being, I privated all my videos because it seems like the expiration timer on the copyright strikes for one of the videos hasn't expired for some reason. It should have by now. So until I get that resolved, everything will still be private, which means I'll probably be continuing to talk to YouTube via Twitter, the only way to talk to YouTube. So, if you guys are following me on Twitter, you can have that to look out for. It's really amazing that you can only do this through Twitter. Like, there's no confidentiality at all. You're just, any information you have about what's going on with your YouTube channel, you're putting it out to the whole world. That's really just, it's insane that the system works like that. There's no confidentiality at all. So, yeah, if you guys want to read Twitter threads about me bitching and moaning to YouTube, that's the place to go to. So that pretty much brings us to where we are right now. My channel is up and running again, and I'm glad to be able to talk to you guys again because Some of you really kept me going. Some of you actually managed to track me down. A lot of you weren't following me on Twitter, but some of you managed to find my email address, which was surprising enough. And I think that was because I left it on my website, which some of you found, which is also surprising because I thought I only shared that website link with a couple of you guys, but apparently a bunch of you went there looking for some of my old Sakuga videos and reached out to me from there. Some of the things that you guys said really kept me going. I won't name names for confidentiality's sake, but you guys know who you are. Thanks so much for reaching out. And yeah, it really meant the world to me. You guys mean the world to me. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. I love talking with you guys in the comments. That's what inspires me to make new videos, is just hearing what you guys have to say about them. So thanks. Thank you. Seriously. And I know it's a bit shameless to plug this in right now, but if you guys aren't following me on Twitter, I highly recommend it, because when my channel went down, I had no way of contacting you guys. I basically left everyone in the dark, and there was nothing I could do. I'm not partnered on YouTube, so if I get 3 copyright strikes, I don't get a grace period. My channel's just taken down. So, I mean, I followed up on Twitter, but not many of you were following me there. So if you guys could follow me on Twitter, I'd really appreciate it, in case, God forbid, something like this happens again. I don't even want to think about that. Right now, I'm just trying to figure out precautions on what I should do to avoid this in the future. Honestly, since I wasn't planning on resuming this whole YouTube thing, I was, funny enough, I was planning out my next career on TikTok. And no, I'm not joking. I was planning on getting into journalism a little bit. And I haven't totally given up on that. As far as Sakuga videos are concerned, guys, I really don't know what the future holds in regards to that. And I know that the majority of you are subscribed to this channel because of Sakuga videos. I'm not going to delude myself to thinking that most of you are here because of my commentary videos, because that's just not the case. Sakuga videos just do so much better analytically. Whichever route I end up choosing, I hope you guys won't be too disappointed. And, you know, if I stop uploading the type of content that you guys like, if I stop doing that, then, you know, just unsubscribe. The last thing I want is for you guys to be watching a channel where you don't enjoy the stuff I'm putting out. That's really not the point. I mean, I could scream subscribe all day, but if you guys don't care about anything that I put out, then you know. Anyways, I've kind of droned on long enough. If anything else comes to mind, I'll just leave a post, and we'll take it from there. I'm not entirely sure what the future holds. There might not be a video for a very long time. I'm still figuring things out. This whole situation has made me explore different paths in not just YouTube, but in my life in general. So I still need to figure that stuff out. But there's one thing that I'm sure of, and it feels really good to be back. Hopefully we'll be talking a whole lot more in the future. Until then, guys, my name is Registry. Wait, how does it go? How'd my outro go again? This is Registry, signing off.